Those of you that roll your eyes at other women, you need this training more than you know. For your sake, for your happiness, for your marriage, for your children, for your grandchildren, for your bloodline. So we're going to talk about feminine shame today. And that's why I have my titties out. But they are nice, you know. And that's why that I dress this way. And I probably need a necklace, but here we are. So here we go. Are you aware of feminine shame? Let me give you an example. Slut shaming, hating skinny girls, hating girls with their tits out, not liking a woman that's curvy, you know, saying things like, making fun of women, like about their tampons and about their feelings. And you know how certain boys, because they're not men, will make fun of women and girls and mock them and call them names, dumb blonde, you know, hoes, and they just treat them a certain way. So we're going to talk about all that and why, because I have the answers to why. You know, I teach a lot on this at Hot Moms, right? So Hot Moms, typically, I use clickbait, you know, as a marketer to say, hey, I'm going to help you to lose weight, balance your hormones, and get confident, right? But then when you come in, all the women know that they come in for those things, right? But when you get inside, we work on clearing energy blocks that causes you to be ashamed and causes you to be stuck with your weight and your hormones and have relationship problems and not make the kind of money that you desire and deserve. And so we just really, it's a very empowering program for women, because I was not supposed to be successful. I've had a lot of struggles in my life. You know, I threw away my femininity a long time ago. I'm a very masculine energy female. I'm much like, if you could, 10 years ago, I would have told you that I don't ever want to work with women. Just give me men. Men are way easier. And I mean, you know, you can comment if you agree. Like, yes, men are easier in a sense because they're not as complex with their emotions, and they're just different. They're wired differently, and it's beautiful, right? Neither one's right or wrong. But when we bring in a new understanding for both sexes, things get a lot easier. And so today I'm going to go over something, like the thing that came up and made me want to do this live. And I've been talking to a lot of ladies on the phone, like coming into Hot Moms and stuff like that. It's so sad. It is so sad. And, you know, I would get frustrated and angry because I'm sitting there going, God, I can see why you're stuck. I can see all this stuff. How do you not see it? And they're just beat down. They're just beat down. Their self-esteem is low. Look, we've all been there. Like, I still struggle with insecurities and self-doubt and all that stuff. And there's a way to get around that. But let's just get straight into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is what made me want to do this whole entire live. And here's what it was. So Pink, Stupid Girls. You know what I'm talking about? Pink, the singer. So she's got a pixie haircut, and I remember I used to look at her body and think, God, her obliques are awesome. Now I'm like, how can I get rid of my obliques? Stop doing side bends. But anyway, so she has that song, Stupid Girls. And in that video, God, it's almost like I watched it and I would have created that video years ago before I healed my shit. I hated being a girl. And comment below, listen, if you are one of those Me Too or you can relate, the more you voice it out and say, hey, Me Too, this is how you heal. You heal by being around other divine energy females. That's what changed my life. I put myself around healed feminine energy versus wounded feminine energy and wounded masculine energy. So if you find yourself like, wow, that's me, comment, because if you don't want to, that means like you feel ashamed of something. And then a lot of women won't even ask for help because they feel like they should be able to do it themselves, and they're denying their femininity right there, and that's why they're not going to be successful, right? So anyway, I could have made that video that Pink created. Like, that was me. That's how I thought about women. I hated being a woman. You know, I grew up, my dad, I think he wanted me to be a boy. Honestly, I just don't think he knew anything about girls. He actually thought every woman was a whore, except his mother. So that's great, right? That was literally his thoughts. So yay. And I grew up, you know, hunting, fishing, tomboy, blah, blah, blah. And I just remember to, you know, we do this unconsciously. It's not like we make the decision, but if you grow up and you want your father's love, you're going to do whatever you think makes them happy. Even though right now in your adult, like, you're not, oh, I don't do that. Look, those of you that are in Hot Moms, you're emotionally intelligent, you know what I'm talking about. So deep down, you know, my dad I did what my dad did because I hung out with him. So naturally I'm like hunting and, you know, tough and want to kick all the boys' ass and want to beat all the boys' ass and want to race faster than the boys and really just a feminist. How do you say that? Feminist. Yeah. You know, just really, what it was emasculating men. When women act like that, it's really low-key emasculation and it's very negative and a toxic thing. So I hated girls. You know, girls and females were the weaker sex. So I just could not stand being a girl. I remember saying things like, I hope I get hurt so I can't have children. Because to me, being a mommy and being all that stuff was just so weak. It was just so weak. Women were so stupid and so weak. And they had periods and they wanted to talk. And they wanted to share their feelings. And they wanted to, it made me want to vomit. Like, I hated women. I hated myself is why. I hated being a woman. I hated that I was not born with a dick. Anybody else? And that's how my life was. But I remember dressing like a boy. I remember shopping in the boys section. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with this. And if you're a lesbian, like, I have nothing against any of that. I work with a lot of lesbians and actually help them. I actually help them a lot because when they understand divine feminine energy and divine masculine, their relationships get better as well. And gay guys too. So it's just an energy. It doesn't mean just because you're born with a vagina or a cock that you have to have more of those hormones. Like, everybody has feminine and masculine inside of them, and you have to look at your relationships and you'll find out really quickly where your wounded shit is at. Like, if you've been divorced many, many times, you probably yourself are very emasculating towards men, and for you guys, you just absolutely disrespect women as a whole because you're wounded and you're masculine. So yeah, I'm going to trigger a lot of people. So anyway, that was me. That was me, just to give you a little clue about like how bad I hated being a girl. When I started my period, I'll never forget, if Kaylee's watching this, you know what I'm talking about. So I was in 8th grade, and I started for the first time. We were going to a party that night, and I was over at my friend's house, it was Kaylee's house, and getting ready and stuff like that. And I remember taking my pants off to get in the shower, and I saw the stuff in there, right? And we argued for a minute, like, whose is that? Because I felt literally defeated. I felt so, it was like if you're a mom and you like can't breastfeed or you can't have a baby naturally or whatever, like same thing. Like, I felt so defeated. I felt like I lost because I started my period. When most women that's in their healed state celebrate it. And it should be so celebrated. Now that I look back, like if I had a daughter, it would just be the coolest thing ever. It would be like, oh, you're a woman now. Like, oh, you are stepping into more power than you ever know. And it is scary. It is so much power that it makes little boys tremble and want to call girls bad things and create religions to hang us. This is how powerful you are. But I was the opposite. I truly felt like powerless. And we went to that party. It was a nightmare. Like, I had a pad on and I was just it was worst. So that's when I started my period, right? And they say that when little girls start their periods, they lose like 80% of their self-esteem. Well, that was totally me. Because, you know, like, I already hated being a girl. This just really solidified the fact that I'm weak. Now I'm weak, you know. Whew. So that happened. And then, you know, puberty and all this other stuff rolled in, and the boyfriend game was really hard for me because my dad literally and my granddad and all the men in my family said things to make me feel like a whore because I was being a freaking human going through puberty. Hello, sex is fun. Hello, matching your bra and panties is fun. Hello, like, hello. You know? So you get the drift of like my life. Okay, and it got me really bad relationships, and I had cystic acne. My body was breaking down. Like, I was over exercising. I was trying to be a man. I was trying to hustle and make all the money and not depend on anybody for shit. And it got me burnout. It got me adrenal fatigue. It got me thyroid issues. It got me no money. It made me just struggle. Because I was in my masculine, in my wounded masculine, not even the divine masculine. It was a wounded masculine. And that's kind of how I created all of Hot Moms. And after I became a mother, you know, I had a literal it's when I had to surrender to this whatever happened. And it's when I created Hot Moms, and it's been just an amazing thing ever since. So what we're going to get into is why we hate ourselves. Why do we hate being a woman? Why do we think women are weaker? Why do men treat women the way they do? Why do girls treat women the way they do? Why are we stuck with our weight? Why can't we find motivation? Why can't we hold a relationship down? That's what we're going to talk about. So when I saw the pink video and realized that I could have created it, I just saw the flip side now that I've healed my shit. And it was so sad to me that she, watching that video and watching the energy of it, like, you hate yourself. You are denying your femininity, which is it's just this magical essence. You're denying a part of you, yeah, but I can't explain to you the magic that can happen when you tap into, and men too. When a man can tap into his femininity, it's incredible. Just like when a woman can tap into her masculine. You know, a lot of women look at me and, how do I do all this? How do I do that? Because I am masculine. I just got off the phone with a girl. What's up, Vita? She enrolled to Hot Moms, right? And I was like, God, I fucking love you, because we're off the phone in an hour. You are in. We went over all your stuff. We know where you're blocked. We know this. We got you enrolled. You're good to go. She's getting started in an hour. Y'all, when I get a wounded feminine energy lady, it literally takes me just an hour to get her pain out of her, because she's so ashamed to talk about herself. She's so ashamed to admit she has a problem. So the women that I do work with and like really gel with easily is very just that masculine female. But I do love feminine women, you know, and that's why as a man, or even as a masculine woman, when you get in touch with your true divine femininity, you just tap into this power. Same thing with men. When you don't heal your shit, you're operating from a wounded masculine state and a wounded feminine. So when you tap into the divine energy, right, the healed state, everything changes. Everything gets better, life becomes beautiful, and things happen way easier with less effort. So the notes that I have here, okay, here's the deal. When a man, and this happens to me a lot. Used to, I would like want to fight about it. I mean, y'all, in high school, I pulled a knife on this guy because he was a dick. Like, I'm telling you, like, I would try to fight dudes. I didn't have a problem with girls. I was just kind of that girl that said, oh, I just want to hang out with the guys because I can't stand girls. And I've been in more fights with boys, men, than I have women. Like, and then my mother, let's don't even go there. That's all she did was emasculate men. She taught me that men were not safe, that men only want sex, that blah, 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 blah. So then we had all those wounds. We clear all this up in Hot Mom. So don't worry. If you want help at the end of this, I got you. But I had all this in my head. It got really, really bad. But the reason certain men treat women poorly and make remarks like, oh God, you see her, she's such a slut. Oh God, she's this ditzy career woman. Look at her. Like, oh, you know, just making these remarks like, go play with your tampons. Oh, women and emotions. You know, men that speak like that, here's why they do it. You want to know why? Let me know. Say why. Why do men and women look at the female gender this way? Here's why. We go over this in Relationship by Design. It's because, you know, let's just look at a stripper, okay? A good one. And I love strippers. Good ones. Let's say there's a guy sitting there and he's getting a dance, okay? And she is in her divine energy, honey, because guess what? I hate to break it to you. Divine feminine energy is very sexual. You're welcome. Did you know, studies, this is science-based, this is science, that women, you know, all those little remarks from all these wounded ass women that are like, oh, the women that get plastic surgery and the women that wear too much makeup, they're just insecure, and I don't have to do that to be beautiful, and women that do this, and it's bad, and it's this, and it's that, and if it wasn't for Maybelline and all these marketing agencies, we wouldn't feel like we're not enough, and we would just be happy as is. Fuck off. You know what? Science has shown that you could take a girl right when she starts going through puberty, and not show her any ads, not ever expose her to any marketing. And she would want to look a certain way and be desirable. She would want a small waist, big boobs, nice butt, and she would want to be attractive. That's in our makeup. That is in our genetic makeup. Sorry. So wanting to be attractive, and the reason why girls do pretty things and like pretty things is because it's who we are. We were born to be. So all these people, well, Casey, where did the shame come from? Where did church? Christianity in itself is the patriarchy created by men. And the God is a male masculine. You know, we went over this in Chaotic and Powerful. So you can just say that sometimes, like, yeah, religions are where a lot of this stems from, and shame, and around, you know, covering up and a woman's place. That's where it comes from. These dogmas, these fucked up things. And look, if you're in organized religion, I probably am not the right coach for you. But if you're wondering why you struggle so much, you have to look at facts and you have to look at history. Because where does this come from? Rules. And when somebody created something that wanted power. And what do they do to powerful people? When a man feels powerless, he is going to come out fighting. Just like the stripper story that we're going back to, that I'm circling around to. So the man's sitting back and he's sitting there getting a dance, right? She's in her power because feminine energy is what? It's sexual. Feminine energy is very sexual. It's natural. It is so feminine. It is so, women, y'all know what you feel like when you get done up and you can't tell you shit. I know how y'all are. Get your nails done, your tan on, got your hair fixed, your makeup for the shoot. You have a different energy about you. Who's done a boudoir shoot? Who's done a photo shoot? Who's had their hair and makeup done? Who's went to prom? How good did you feel? And if you didn't, it's because there's deep ingrained shame about being a woman that we need to clear out, because you're holding yourself back. You're holding yourself back. So the stripper, in her just power, she's powerful. She's doing the thing, right? Literally, women are sitting on gold mines because it's how the world is just made up. But when the wounded man feels scared and threatened by her power, guess what he's going to do to her? Just take a guess what he's going to say about her or do. He's going to treat her like a whore. He's going to say something derogatory, just talk down to her. He's going to make a remark about her body or whatever. He's got to diminish her so that he feels a little bit better about himself. Now, that's the truth. And you can't go telling men and being like trying to tell them off because you're just as bad as they are. A healed woman in her feminine energy can let him be, or her. Women get very triggered by a woman in her power. Hello! I trigger a lot of them. I trigger a lot of men too. They want to call me names. Yeah. But it's okay. I can just sit back and I can love them because they don't understand. I realize that I am threatening them in some odd way, but I'm not going to change who I am. I'm just going to go to a man that appreciates a feminine power. It takes a very strong, healed, masculine male to empower his woman. Skip is so strong in this. He loves empowering women. And I was held down a lot because I dated assholes that were, old school and come from that way of just believing that a woman is less than, and that, if she dresses a certain way, looks a certain way, that she's a whore. It's a very old school backwoods type of thinking, but whatever. But that's why men put down women. That's why women put down women. There's a lot of shame, and they get triggered, and they feel threatened, and they feel weak. So what do? Call them a name. They have to diminish them. Make them feel small. Make them seem small. Oh, she's just a ditzy blonde with big tits. Yeah. Let them think that, because you know what you are. You know who you are. So I actually love to use the way I look. Y'all can look back at photos and look at me. I look like hammered ass. I looked like hammered ass. So I've got fake tits, fake lips, fake hair, fake fucking everything. And you know what? I use it to my advantage. First of all, I like looking hot. I've embraced my femininity, and it is very powerful. And it shows me things, just like, you know, these men that or women that get triggered or whatever. And it's almost like camouflage, because I'm this way on the outside, and they think that I'm just a big whore, you know, titty, dumb, whatever. But I'll eat that ass, and I'll go toe to toe any day. So let them think what they want. Just know that you are intimidating to them. You make them nervous, and you trigger the fuck out of them. So they have to diminish you and make you small, because they don't even know what divine feminine power is. So when you see a woman in her power, it's going to look like she's just that messy, wild woman. You know? She's that woman, I think of her, that's sitting there with her fucking thighs showing in a bikini top, and she's smoking a cigarette, and she's really sexy, and she's saying what she wants, and she's just full of love, and she's full of life, and she's exciting, and she's daring, and she's got her girls, you know? That's the shit right there. Now, so did that help on why men and women treat just women as a whole, like why they treat women bad, why we get shamed, why we get slut shamed, why we get shamed in general? It's because of that. Did you know when people talk about women talking too much, like it used to get me too, like, fuck, will she just shut up? Now, a lot of times too, talking can be like an anxiety thing, where women just talk just because there's some stuff going on there, they don't know how to feel, and they talk too much. But as a whole, girls, and there's studies on this, it's fascinating. Actually, if you're in the book club, there's a book that I read that's just, it's fascinating. They studied female brains from, you know, embryo to death, and it's just absolutely the coolest thing ever. If you've got daughters, the coolest book you could ever read. It helps you understand yourself. It's just really cool. Even if you're a dad and you've got a teenage daughter, like, it is a great book so you can understand women. And not to mention we have periods, right? Thank God I've got a hysterectomy. But we have periods, and we change every single week. It's literally like just the tides, man. It's really wild. It's really, really cool to be a woman. You just have to learn who you are and what you are, and how to witness it and move with it. It's really crazy. But anyway, so talking. This was nuts when I found this out. So back in the colonial days, they used to torture women. They used to hold them underwater, dunk them, and tie their tongues with these like clothespin things, because they would talk too much. And not to mention, you know, go back to the healers. Women are natural healers. We have intuition. That's part of being feminine. Whereas the church wanted to kill that off, and they called those women witches. And so that's why women get freaked out when a woman's in her power. They think she's a witch or she's whatever. I'm like, it's herbs. Like, what are you talking about? Like oils. What are you talking about? But back in the day, they would kill your ass because you were healing people with oils or natural plants, or, you know, hands-on healing or something, when really it's a divine gift from the heavens, from God, from the universe, whatever it is you believe in. And so talking is a very healing thing for a woman. It actually releases a ton of dopamine and in the pleasure center of the brain. Like, it's almost like heroin. Talking, when women can talk to each other. Now, that's why a lot of times it turns to gossiping, because she's in her wounded state. Women that need to talk about other women, it's comes from a wounded place. So, and I used to be there. I loved to gossip. I mean, it was a running joke. Like, gossiping was so fun. It's just what we did growing up. It's what we did in my family. It's just like the tea, baby. It was just a very small town. You know, that's what they do. And so as I've evolved, and especially in like Hot Moms, there's a flip side to that communication thing. And what it is this, and it's so needed. Women lack this motherly love. Like, they, you know, their mom's maybe not here, or maybe they left their mom, or maybe they got shitty relationships with their mom. But the need for this female motherly nurturing love is just, it's scarce. And that's what we need. We need that. Like a true mother's love is just so gentle. I mean, she will she's powerful, and she's going to get her message across, but it's so gentle and so unconditionally just love. Like, there's this space that the energy holds for you that's like, you're not fucked up, you're not flawed, you're not wrong, yeah, she just hears you, she understands, she sits with you. She doesn't judge you, you know, and she believes in you and she encourages you. That's that feminine motherly love, right? It's not do this and you fucked up and you're bad. No. So what we need is that we need more of that nurturing motherly love, right? So when we talk to women, instead of gossiping, if we heal our shame and can hold space for one another without projecting our shit or without saying, oh God, she's this or that, and we talk bad about her, whatever. She's going through some stuff and she's going to get it right. And this is just part of it. You know, we can just hold space for her. And so, yeah, I guess the opposite of the gossip thing is you can still talk, but elevate the conversation. But it's hard to do when you're just in that space. So you really have to work on healing, actively healing your shit. And it's not just this one thing. You have to actively learn about shame and guilt and feminine energy and masculine energy and really just healing all that. And when you do, that's why I have a trauma-informed approach, is because a trauma-informed approach is, one of our students posted a meme. It was awesome. It listed out, like, when you tell your friend this, they try to fix it or judge, or then they'll talk bad. Or when you tell somebody else this, they almost shame you for feeling that way. So it's like, why even say anything? But a trauma-informed coach will sit there and say, tell me about it. Tell me about it. And it's not wounded shit. It's not that we're wanting to sit there and be in our wounded state, because a wounded woman, she'll talk your fucking ears off. And she's going to tell you all about her problems, because guess why? She loves being the victim. It's how she gets attention. She's wounded and she loves getting help and all the attention. We did a live on this yesterday. The women that you want to be around are ones that can share what they're going through, but they're also doing the work. They're taking responsibility for it and they're changing the narrative. You know, it's just different. It's a different energy. So if you find yourself feeling lonely or sad or just all alone, it's because you lack that feminine divine energy. You lack that nurturing energy. And it's hard to give it to yourself when you don't even know what it is. So I recommend find a mastermind. Find women. It's probably going to be online because, you know, let's face it, it's hard. Yeah, online. Find your tribe. Find women that can hold space for you in your hot mess shit. And be around those women. I can't tell you what that's going to do for your growth, for your everything. You need that. I mean, they've also done studies where women, I mean, we thrive on community. Hello. I mean, it's just what we do. Women who are surrounded by other women, like supportive women, live longer. Back in the days, I mean, it comes just way back to our babies were safer, everything. And then they studied chimps or something like that, where if a male chimp was, I don't know, fighting or going to hurt the female, that all of the other females, like the lionesses, right, get together and kick his ass. So literally women, we know that we're stronger in groups because we're not big and strong like the men, but that's fine because we have another gift. But we do know that deep down, we need each other. We need to be in a community. We need communion. We just know that deep down. And if you're like, oh, you just got some healing work to do. That's all. That's all. That's all that means. That's all that means. So yeah, girls and women talking, just knowing your daughters, you know, if you're like, God, she talks on the phone forever. It's good. It's releasing pleasure hormones in her brain. It's really, really good for women. That's why I cannot stand not answering your comments right now, because I want to hear what you're saying. I want you to feel heard, you know? It's a lot. It means a lot. So just wanted to share that. After I watched that video, I was like, wow, let's just set the fucking record straight here. Let's set the record straight here. And then that's another thing, cussing. She shouldn't cuss. She's a lady. Says who? What, your church? Where did that come from? You know? Like, can we take all the shit of what women should and shouldn't be and throw it out the fucking window and really y'all go read it's not a great book, but it is a good book. Women Who Run with the Wolves. I mean, that's just like a basic feminine book, right? Will I ever be good enough to heal the mother wounds? Healing from Narcissistic Fathers book. That's a good one because a lot of our moms had masculine energy, and healing our father wounds will clean up a lot of those nasty masculine mother wounds as well. Some other books. Let's see, what's another book? We'll have these up in the book club, by the way. The Female Brain. You know, that's a really good book. Powerful and Feminine, great books. I mean, these are just great books if you struggle with loneliness, or your body, or confidence, or just, yeah, all that stuff. It's because you don't know who you are. It's because you denied your femininity. There's so much shame and guilt, and we have to remove it. I mean, that's all that it means. So if you want some help, if you want to go deeper, I would love to help you. This is all we do in Hot Moms. I mean, this is what I do, is I help that masculine energy female to find out who she really is and step into her power. And by default, she's able to take care of herself. She's able to balance her hormones. She's able to feed herself properly. She's a better mother. She's a better spouse. Everything changes because you're literally coming back into wholeness, because your whole life you've been living as a halfsies. Not even that, because you've been in a wounded masculine state, out of survival mode. So it's time to meet her. It's time to call her back in, and I promise it can be scary. Dude, I remember feeling so scared of just the power. I remember writing it out, and it can be very scary. So if you want some help, if you want to be around women that have been there, that are there right now, that can hold space for you, just go apply and let's chat and see if we can help. It's CaseyShip.com/apply. Go fill the application out. You'll see my training and some testimonials, and we'll just chat. We'll chat and see if you're ready for it. And if you're not, that's fine too. We've got programs for people that are not ready for it. If you want to go deeper, would love to help you. You want to go deep, balls deep, all you got to do is go to CaseyShip.com/apply. See, that was masculine of me, because that's fun. It's fun to talk like that. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.